What was I thinking? All right, as we mentioned, this is going to be like a little variety segment because there is an abbreviated look at that today's special at the end of this hour. Cranberry benefits, how much I love thee. This has been life-changing for me. I mean, it really is. Are you taking a little dose? I actually take this twice a day, and for women and men, by the way, men, this can benefit you as well with Father's Day around the corner.
No, especially men.
For sure.
Women, as I always say, women know more about their bodies because their bodies are, let's use a better way to look at it. Their bodies are more interesting and have to have more functions over the course of our lifetime than a man's body. Men get away with being blissfully ignorant. Most men, not most, almost every man will discover their prostate as they get older.
Right.
And why do they discover their prostate? Not because of its own specific function, but because of its relationship and its proximity to its neighbors. Its neighbors being the bladder, the ureter, urinary tract. So men become familiar with their prostate and the benign growth, though as they say, the harmless growth of their prostate, because their prostate starts very small, like the size of a walnut. And when a man is, say, in his 80s, it's significantly larger. And our body wasn't designed with a lot of extra space to allow for those kinds of benign, seemingly benign growth. So that impacts urinary function, bladder function. So that's why men, as we get older, greater periods of urgency, particularly at night, waking up to pee, which can affect the way we the way we sleep.
Absolutely.
So you wake up, it might only be a minute or two to do whatever you need to do. And then also with the impact of the growth of the prostate on the ureter and on the bladder, what happens also is with that urgency also comes a reduced ability to void as effectively. So it's really something that I don't really belabor the point with men because I think women understand the impact on their world, the way their anatomy and physiology affects their bladder. And again, what cranberry does is cranberry is just a natural ingredient that supports a better environment in our bladder, kidneys, urinary tract. So it's not a drug or a medicine, but to the extent it supports a better environment, it enables our body to maintain those tissues and structures better. This is one of those products that, like so many we were talking about omega-3s, that it's virtually perfectly reviewed. I think all pretty much 95 to 97% of the reviews are positive reviews.
4.8, a
4.8 stars.
4.8 on a 5-star rating system. So if you're already in love with this, like I am, boy, today's your day to stock up because weekend or special pricing, of course, your 30, 60, 120, and 240. I do take this twice a day. I struggled with issues, whether it's urinary tract or...
And it's so affordable.
It is.
It's a little bit more than a dime a capsule. You don't need to take more than 2 capsules a day. What I typically recommend is 1 capsule a day. That's the perfect dosage of the product. If you're going to take 1 capsule, I recommend it at night, because at night we generally reduce the flow of, let's say, urine production. So it's just our body does that, so hopefully we won't have to wake up. But also it's the longest period of time we go without voiding.
Sure.
So as long as we're delivering these protective compounds, why not deliver them to an opportunity to work a bit longer? So I say if you're taking 1 capsule, take it at night. If you're taking 2 capsules, take 1 in the morning and 1 at night. Whatever works best for you. You could take 2 at the same time if you want as well. But it's just a natural product. It's not a drug, not a medicine. I encourage you to read the reviews. They are beyond compelling reviews. And as I say about turmeric, cranberry and turmeric are kind of the poster children for a natural, traditionally respected ingredient that now has been delivered scientific support.
Absolutely, with no sugar, no calories, some of the other ways that we get cranberry.
It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see an ingredient that I'll have talked about for so long and to see the science roll in to support it.
Yeah.
And then even more exciting is to see the reviews that roll in, because that's the best science of all, is the reviews that roll in that validate its benefits.
For sure. And you know what's so funny? We never really commit a lot of time on the air to talking about this, but we sell so much of it when Andrew's not here because I think a lot of us, like myself, try it and feel the difference.
An incredibly important product for part of our body. It's unavoidable. Our body, that's how our body, it's part of the way our body processes waste and excretes